Hi guys, you're welcome to the chart. Today on the XAUUSD chart, we can see that the price of gold has been moving significantly from the lower region all the way to the highest point right here on the chart. And from there, we saw the price started dropping down, yes, which created this particular point right here, which is a first lower high on the chart. As we can see, the price dropped down all the way, created this low right here, okay, and something should make that price to hold around that level. If you look at the cursor, you can see that area of 4117.54. It is a relevant point of interest, so we can just sum that up into 4120.00. Okay, so from that level we saw price pulling back up into this area, and that created another lower high on the chart. Then finally, price dropped down to where you can see the most recent price right now. And yes, the market closed around that level, waiting for the new week. And the new week is right here. What will the market give to us? This is basic and why we are here together to understand the futuristic price movement of gold and to equip ourselves ahead before the market pushes. Okay, so here we'll identify the value areas like the demand zone, supply zones, and of course, high probability trading opportunities so we can maximize our portfolios together. Okay, so if you look at this chart, you can see that this level right here, okay, is a very significant point before price move all the way up here. And that being said, we are going to highlight that particular zone as you can see right there, and we'll extend that into the future like this. Here now we have our weekly POI. Okay, so this is our weekly POI. It's very important to us. We want to see how price is going to come and react to this weekly POI once again. Why are we looking at price coming to the weekly POI once again? It's pretty simple. We want to see that come true because yes, we saw that price created something around this level right here, and of course it dropped down to this level where it is. Previously the price has tested this POI way back some weeks ago, and now it's coming back looking like it's going to come down. Okay, we're not certain that it will get down to this place, but if the price gets down to this place, then we want to see price reaction like this. We want to see price come into that zone. We want to see price pull up. We want to see price bounce and clear that zone, and eventually come change character on the smaller time frame, retest, and boom, we see price continuing in the overall direction of the market, targeting this overall high. Of course, it's futuristic, and we are not saying it's going to be here anytime soon, but this is basic, and this is what you should be expecting from the chart. If the weekly POI breaks, what you're going to be seeing is simple. You're going to be seeing price go break, retest, and of course, it's going to continue downwards. All right. So now the weekly POI has been established. You have to always mark that, okay, because our weekly POI point is 4120.00. Okay. All right. So now the next thing we are going to be doing is pretty simple. We are going to break this chart down into the daily time frame. Let's see exactly what we have. But in the meantime, our weekly POI stays very active because price hasn't broken through it. It is a solid zone that will hold the price until it breaks. Here we have the daily time frame. Our weekly POI stays very much active right here. We're not going to do nothing to it. We just keep it and watch what price is going to do whenever the price comes to this POI. Now, looking at the short-term trend on the chart from this high that is resting right here at this other one and this other one, we can now establish a fact that we have a solid bearish trend. Okay, this is not like a major one, but it is a short-term bearish movement as against the weekly. On my view, right here, you can see that price pulled all the way down from this level, created the low right here. Then from this low, price bounced all the way up, created this low high. Then the price dropped all the way down into this area. Of course, this has created a change of trend on the daily time frame. So let's highlight that change of trend, keeping everything crystal clear for you so we can see that a change of trend occurred right here. Okay, so we can quickly just put a mark, change of trend, COT, or you can say change of character. It depends on what you prefer, or MSS market structure shift, or whatever you prefer. Okay, so now we have an established change of trend on the daily time frame. Price is bouncing back up and down. You can see what the price has been doing. Now let's establish something once again. If I want to take a trade, then I'm going to look at how the price moved from this level, came down, pulled back up here. This is an internal level, and price eventually broke this structure, then came all the way to this level. Okay, pulled back up. There was a reset here, and boom, we had price dropping all the way down from this level. So now what I can see right here is I can see that price took a pause from around this level and of course ended right here. Okay, so that level is a significant point of interest for me on the daily time frame. So what else do I want to see? For this price to really sell down better, okay, first, market should calm down on the daily time frame like this. Market should calm down. Of course, yes, we have this level right here, come into this zone, then react off this zone, okay, and then we have an internal change of trend from there, price retest, and boom, it should come straight up into this area for us to look for another selling opportunities. Okay, now I'm going to be ignoring what the price has done here because as you can see, it's been a bit choppy to the downside here and not smooth. It's not as smooth as this movement to the downside. So I can tell you for a fact that this is where sellers came in aggressively, more aggressively, that led to the price drop into this particular area. So price is going to be coming back up. Of course, that movement up is going to be the reason why price is going to touch this trend line for the third time. Okay. Yes, if that touches, we might see a little bit price pull back and then price eventually break above, retest, and boom, it's going to come into our zone. That is where we want to look out for further selling opportunities. So on the daily time frame, you can now see an established point of interest. It's very significant. We have to highlight that right now. Okay, so that will be our daily POI. Okay, that's our daily POI right there. So that being established now, of course, you know exactly what to do from the weekly to the daily time frame. Now we are going to move into the 4 hours chart, but I would love to take out this trend line right now. All right, guys, here we have the 4 hours time frame, and everything is becoming more clearer and even bolder for traders to really see what is happening. So I'm going to zoom this chart in and let's look at the price movement right here. Okay, so on the 4 hours time frame, it's pretty simple. You can see that it's been a bearish movement all along. Okay, price has been doing this for the longest. Price came down. Of course, we can see that the structure stayed clean until it started ranging around this area, and boom, we had price drop all the way down until it got to this area. Price pulled up into this area, which swept all the liquidity that was resting right here. Okay, and yes, what happened next? Price dropped down, created an internal higher low. Okay, and price came up here, failed to take out this high, created once again another bearish signal, which is the lower high. Okay, then we now saw price drop, breaking structure here, price pulled back, created another lower high, which tells us that the market has more bearish trends. Then price boom came down to this level. Okay, now this movement down broke structure around here, okay, which is another 4 hours change of character, as you can see right here. So price drop all the way down here, and of course something significant has occurred on this chart. Okay, now if you look at how the price dropped all the way down, see price drop down to this level, pulled back up, and we had aggressive sellers into the market from around this level all the way down here. So price is expected to come back up into this zone to continue selling down into our weekly zone, right? So the bearish short-term bearish movement is still very much active because we are yet to see a bullish change of trend that would signify that price wants to go up, right? So let's quickly highlight the change of trend that recently occurred on the 4 hours time frame. Okay, so this is our change of trend right here. As you can see, yeah, that's happened. There was a break there during NFB. So we have that COT right there. Okay. Now, the next thing I will do is identify where the sell pressure came in from. Yes, you can see that sell pressure actually came in from around this level. So I'll highlight that level into the future. It's significant to me. All right. Because the next thing I want to see here is I want to see this price now. Okay. So play slowly into this zone if it's gonna hold, and yes, I want to see price pull up like this, give me another change of trend, then I'm gonna sell down into the next level right there. So our 4 hours point of interest right now remains the 4469.74. So we can just make that 4470.00. And the bottom of that we have there 4426.79. I'll round that up to 4430.00. Okay, so now you have our 4 hours point of interest. Now you understand what we are expecting to see on gold and why we want to see that occur. Okay. Now, for price to change trend to the upside, it means that price will have to come and break from the origin here. You see, this is an origin high that swept all this place, so it's an origin high. Okay, so this level needs to be broken officially for a proper buy to continue higher. Okay, but as you can see on the 4 hours, we have another significant point of interest that is resting right here. We have another significant point of interest that is resting right here, where price is likely going to come into once again. So if this zone is defeated, then price is going to come up, of course, clear this high, then come into the zone where we are going to see price, of course, react from around there. Okay, and boom, we'll see price selling down once again. Remember that we don't have specific targets where the sell or the buy is going to get to, but all we have to do as traders is always highlight these levels and wait for price to play into this level before we take any action in the market. Okay, so you want to make sure that you always get confirmations whenever you get to trade the market. Okay, be it whatever zones like the order block, demand, supply, whatever strategy you use, everything boils down to waiting, which is part of trading. So on the 4 hours, you already know that we have all of these established zones as zones that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, as you can see, this is basically liquidity that is resting from here. Okay, we have liquidity resting right here. Okay, so price we have to come clear all this liquidity right here, which means the overall is going to come through. Okay, that's for liquidity. All that needs to clear before price gets into that level. So to keep it clean, I'll just remove this and let's keep it clean. Yeah. All right, so that's for 4 hours time frame, guys. We will have to zoom this chart now into a smaller time frame. Okay, and let's see possibly what we would expect when the market opens in few hours time. Okay, so here on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that it's aligning with the 4 hours, but even giving us better view than what we saw on the 4 hours. Though we would need to readjust our zones on the 4 hours. Okay, you understand how that works. The 4 hours is not your entry time frame. Of course, you have to realign your zones to your entry time frame and see how it plays out. Okay, but for 4 hours, of course, this is what the 4 hours traders are going to be trading with. It's very wide, and you know that scalpers will not want to dare play around this area for no reason. You don't have to play around that level because it's crazy. Yes, but on the 1 hour, okay, on the 1 hour, I would refine this zone to this area right here, and of course, that becomes where I want to look at for a sell opportunity at that extreme. Okay, so at that extreme, we're going to be having 4460 to 4480 as our zone to look out for. So whenever I get to look at these numbers, I always like to round them up to psychological numbers, okay? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and all that. But the biggest psychological number remains the 100, 200, 400, 300, 500, 600, 1000, 10,000, even 2000. You understand what that means? Okay. So on the 1 hour, we've seen where we want to take our trade, but we are yet to see what is most important to us. Okay, so on 1 hour, we can see our price dump all the way down, reacted, dump down, reacted, dump down. Now, something beautiful is happening right here on the 1 hour because I can already see the price created this high. So that's a significant level for me right now. Okay, and that will be the first change of character I want to see, or the first change of trend I want to see on the chart in order for me to start looking out for buying opportunities. The market closed, leaving us with a bullish engulfing, a nice bullish engulfing right here. You can see the bullish candle. Let me zoom in. So here you can see the candle sweeping the low of this prior bearish candle and then pulling back up, engulfing that candle. This is a nice momentum from the buyers. So that means we're going to be seeing price pulling back, okay, gradually breaking above this level. That will give us a change of trend. Then we'll look for price coming into POI that should be resting somewhere there. Okay, where we'll now look out for possible buy that will extend this price even higher. Okay, now take note of that. Take note of the level. You can take note of that level 4350.00, or you can say 4345.00 to 4350.00. Okay, now looking at that as a zone, you just want to wait for price to come into those areas in order for you to see how it's going to react. Okay, so that's for the 1 hour. Now we'll leave this like this. I'll take off this and I'll bring this chart to the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, do not enter a trade on market open because it's risky. Okay, so I'll go to the 15 minutes time frame in order for us to see better what we have right here. Okay, so on the 15 minutes time frame, you can see, yes, that price aligned very, very well. Structure is becoming clearer. Okay, now let's start from this higher level. So we got price dropping all the way down from this level. Okay, we got price dropping into this level, then price pulled back up. And from there, we got price dropping down again. Okay, price pulled back up and dropped down, right? Pulled back up. We got price dropping down right here. Then price pulled up into this area. From here, we got price dropping all the way down. Yes, that broke structure around there. So the support, the last support here was broken, and price dropped into this area right now. And now the next thing we want to see is we want to see price pulling back up, breaking above this level like this. Okay, then possibly while going up, price should leave a footprint where we're going to see price pull back into. Then we'll look out for possible buy opportunities and follow the price higher because we have this level right here where we want to sell from. Okay, we want to sell from this level, but of course 4 hours is going to react here, then it's going to drop down, and then it will finally come here, and then it's going to drop down. But regardless, you need to always wait for that absolute change of trend or change of character that is going to tell you that the market is now aligning itself with the overall trend in order for you to execute your trade. So right now you want to wait for price to come break 4350.00 in order for you to execute your trade. So the zone is 4345 to 4350. Okay, now if that happens, it means that this already is looking like a footprint where price might come and react. Okay, if that happens, but until that happens, if we've not seen a break, we have to see a break above Okay, so if we've not seen a break, then that's it.